Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to another video. 6 Days in Fallujah just released not too long ago. It's finally here. We're having a lot of fun. The other evening, I played for about 7 hours straight. I did a little bit on stream, did a little bit off stream. We got a lot of really cool gameplay to show off as well. I'm going to be doing a basic guide for newer players just starting to get into the game. There's a lot of things here that I was confused with, a lot of things that took a little bit of time to get used to. So I'm going to be helping you guys out with that, and I hope you enjoy. First things first, we're going to jump into controls and keybinds, important controls, stuff like that. Things that I think are very important for you guys to know before we get into the game. So starting off here, we're going to go to our settings and keybinds, or keyboard and mouse. We've got movement, we got combat, we got communications, and we have equipment. Now, this is something important to me. You guys might just want to do the default keybinds and just get used to it. However, somebody who plays a lot of tactical shooters, I like to have things set up in a certain way. I rebound my flashlight to the thumb mouse button. I think it's really easy to hit that depending on what type of mouse you have. Obviously, you can't really see the flashlight good because we're in broad daylight, but it is an easy button to hit. You also have that issue of, for whatever reason right now in the game, when you swap weapons, you use some type of device, it does tend to turn your flashlight off, which forces you to turn it back on. So having that flashlight in a convenient location for you to hit real quick is extremely important. Not to mention, enemies can also react and see your flashlight, which could give away your position. So being able to turn off your flashlight and turn it on quickly is extremely important. The next keybind we're going to look at is I changed my change fire mode keybind, or select fire mode, to X. That's what I'm used to in games like Ready or Not or other tactical shooters, so that's convenient to me. I'd recommend changing that up as well, because the default keybind for the flashlight is X. You'll have to swap that around either way. Now, going through important keybinds, first one being tapping R and holding R, which was really confusing to me at first, but I got used to it rather quickly. So in most shooters, you go to hit R once, it'll reload your gun. However, in this game, you hit R once and it checks your magazine. In order to reload, you have to hold R, which will completely swap out your magazine. You do retain magazines as well. It's not like Call of Duty where you just, reload, magically have all your ammo and refilled in one of your other magazines. So if you start to run dry on your mags, you'll notice you'll have magazines that have like 10, 15 rounds or whatever you had at the time in those leftover magazines. Now, when you go to aim, you'll notice that you have like a point firing type mode, and then you've also got the full ADS. In order to do this, you can use your scroll wheel, very similar to ground branch. All you got to do is hit your scroll wheel and you will go from point shooting to looking down your iron sight, or if this was an ACOG, you'd be looking down your ACOG. C is used for pinging. This is really useful, especially as a team leader, kind of directing your squad. It makes things a little bit easier rather than just trying to do everything via directions with your compass, etc., telling your team to stack up on a door and things like that. Another important keybind to utilize is the left Alt key. You tap the left Alt key once, you'll see you've got your compass as well as your equipment on the right side. The equipment will show your magazines, grenades, and other things like that. It's really important. If you hold down the left Alt keybind, you'll notice you see the map with the objective markers as well as the objectives here on the right-hand side. Very convenient, and it's something important to know. Now, there are some keybinds and game mechanics that aren't apparent, you'll notice, while playing the game. For example, the ability to check for wounds when your character gets shot. If you stop moving, it will automatically check yourself for wounds. It'll see if you are bleeding. If you are bleeding, you have the ability to patch up that wound, to use a bandage. If you are not bleeding, you're able to get straight back into the fight. You don't have to move your character into cover, and you don't have to hit any type of extra keybind. All you have to do is stop moving, and it'll do everything on its own, aside from patching up the bleeding. If you do get hit and you are bleeding, your character will notice this, and it'll come up with a prompt for you to patch yourself up if you're bleeding. Another thing that wasn't immediately apparent to me was the ability to pick up downed friendlies. There is nothing that pops up on your screen. There's no prompt that lets you know that you can pick them up or a special keybind to use, etc. For this, it's going to be your use key, so F. If you hold F, regardless if there's a prompt or not, it'll help get your teammate up and back into the fight. You'll also notice that when a teammate is downed or when you're downed, you're able to get yourself into a position of cover or back into a building, which is extremely important. Now, there's another important thing to notice here that we didn't even know until far into the game, is that you can resurrect or get reinforcements and bring your dead friends back into the game once per mission by returning back to your AAV or the military transport vehicle. Now, I will say this is personal preference. Some people may agree or disagree, but this game is certainly best played without Discord comms due to the fact that this game has in-game VoIP effects, which sound really cool and are great for immersion. Another important feature to make sure you know about is holding shift when opening doors, which will allow you to breach the door. Not every door needs to be breached, obviously. If it's locked, you can kick it open by holding shift and then hitting your F key, which will kick the door in. I believe there is one class that will have like a breaching device. I'm not sure exactly which class this is, unfortunately. However, there is one class called the Assist that has a shotgun, which can breach open doors with that firearm if you shoot the handle. Moving on to class selection. Now, if you're playing solo, unfortunately, you cannot change your firearm at all. There's no way to do it at the moment. When you're in a co-op lobby, you can select a class by clicking on your name or your friend's name and selecting one of the 4 classes available. You can only do this if you are the lobby leader or the team leader. You can select a class for your friend. You cannot select your own class for yourself unless you are the team leader or lobby leader. There are 4 classes currently available. One's called Ready, the other is Team, Fire, and Assist. Now, this alone doesn't really say much, but let me explain what each of these classes give you. The Ready class is a basic rifleman with frag grenades. The Team class or Team Leader is a team leader class with a grenade launcher attachment. The Fire class is an auto rifleman with an M249, and the Assist class is a shotgun as a primary and an M16 as a secondary. This is more like your breacher role. Moving on from that, we will talk about how to select different missions within the game. As of right now, the missions are currently randomized. You cannot select the type of mission to play before you get into it. Even though they are randomized, each mission will set a specific mission type and objective. If you fail a mission and retry, you'll be playing that same mission with the same map generation as previous. In order to get a new mission type, you have to go back to the lobby completely. However, again, this is RNG, so you might get the same type of mission again. At the moment, there are only 4 different mission types in the game. They will be adding more later on. You've got the apartment level where you have to secure an apartment. Your objective is secure pinned down and injured Marines on the rooftop. It's an apartment that's being swarmed by insurgents, and you're also being under constant fire of a sniper that you can't engage at all due to ROE. You've also got a heli support mission where you clear an area for air units to proceed safely. You're essentially looking for a building with an RPG arsenal, and you have to secure and detonate the RPG cache. You've also got convoy protection, where your objective is to protect your convoy from VBIEDs, RPGs, and other types of insurgent attacks. You've got fortified compound, where you have to clear a fortified compound of enemies, tear down a flag, and survive their counterattack. Now, lastly, there's some important things to note. The AI will react to your voices from the in-game VoIP. They'll react to your footsteps, and they'll react to your flashlights. But good luck trying to clear out buildings without lights. That's going to be everything to go over here for the basic guide. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I hope this helped you out for starting up 6 Days in Fallujah for the first time. Let me know down in the comments if this video helped. If it did not, please let me know what I could do better. Either way, that is going to be everything right there. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next video.